Driving Gloves, we're a combination of gearheads. John, the instigator, Derek, the conservator, Will, the builder, Sean, the racer, and maybe a guest. Invite you to listen while they sit down, have a drink, and discuss cars. Learn more and subscribe to the podcast at No Driving Gloves. Time now for the ride. So it's No Driving Gloves, as the intro obviously has told you for 8,000 times, and I like to double speak it. Kind of a special episode tonight. We've got all four of us together. Yeah, everybody say hi.
Special guest, Will Posey.
Derek keeps trying to figure out who this bearded bald man in the corner is.
It's been a day or two.
Oh, my God. It's wonderful.
Wait, there's like 3 bearded bald guys on this show.
Maybe it's time to change the name of the show.
Partially bald.
The Bald and the Beautiful?
Bald tires?
Bald tires. There you go.
Bald tires.
Bald tires and beer belly. How about that?
Got you covered. I don't even drink beer, and I have a beer belly.
I was just saying that goes along with the pre-show conversation there.
What's the plan tonight, John?
There is no plan tonight. We're just going to have fun. The podcast is advertised as 4 guys sitting around having a beer, chatting cars. Now, Derek brought wine.
And for once, there's 4 of us here.
Yep. I got a Diet Pepsi. Derek's got a wine. I'm sure Will's got a beer near him. And I'm sure Sean's Sean's all out of gin.
And I'm out of wine.
Oh, it's painful.
My Malbec is... Oh, there's a sip of Malbec.
There's a little bit in there.
Derek licks the glass. Anybody doing anything car-wise? I know Will's traveled.
Yeah, I actually got to go to a car show, believe it or not.
I saw that, and we actually shared this. I don't know who was shooting because Scotty was narrating, but we shared Scott.
That would have been
Scotty D and you,
Mr.
Posey.
Yep. I started the Facebook Live video, and then handed it off to my dad. And that was a Facebook Live video that we did on the Big Oak Garage page. And then Scotty was actually Amanda Meadows was actually shooting it for Scotty. So Scotty will come out with a video of it as well here in the next month or so.
Yeah, we shared that to the No Driving Gloves Facebook page too. It was weird. No, it wasn't. I was sitting in my office on Facebook not doing anything, and it popped up Big Oak Garage Live. So went ahead and shared it to our page too, so people can go check it out there, or Big Oak's page. I'm not a big Tri-Fi guy. A really good looking car, and the unveiling and the excitement in the owner's eyes. It was, it's why you build those cars, I imagine.
Exactly. With that car, we just wanted to build a car that would, stand the test of time. There's really no body mods on the car at all. I mean, we shaved the V in the front, shaved the V in the back, and shaved the wipers. And if anybody's ever shaved the wipers on a Tri-5, you will know how hard it really is, because the stainless trim actually has a notch cut in it for the wipers. So you have to go get another piece of stainless trim, cut your patch panel out, cut that stainless trim up in strips so you can actually use that as your welding rod, because if you use welding rod and you polish it, it's a different color. That was the one body mod on the whole thing was one of the hardest things that you could do as a fabricator. So, but
I would imagine TIG welding stainless is hard enough, let alone stainless trim. It's paper thin and
yep. And then you got to get it straightened back out perfectly and polish it back out. The welding is the easy part.
I want to see the line item on the invoice. Shaved wipers, 4,337 hours.
It's a hard thing to do. It's definitely a hard thing to do.
Seeing that car completely put together in that video was awesome there, because last time I was up there at the shop, everything was basically exploded.
Yep.
And you were showing me the interior and everything coming together, and seeing that thing put together, man, that is a beautiful car.
Thank you.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
That car was actually a Bel Air, and we turned it into a 210, which I'm sure I'll get criticized for that some, but I mean, I like a 210 better. I thought the paint break with the black and white was just spot on and something that will never go out of style. I mean, 20 years from now, you can change the wheels on that car and it will still be a super cool car.
Yeah,
you know, you could put Steelies on that car and it'd be cool. You could put anything on it and it'd be a cool car. But I guess the biggest thing on that car is the engine. So it's a 572 GM Performance big block, the 600 horsepower one, 620 or whatever. And we did a one-off Magnuson supercharger on top of it. So it's never been done. Nobody's put a Magnuson on a big block Chevrolet, especially a tall deck big block Chevrolet. Cleared the hood. Now we got really, really creative on the intake, you know, the intake manifold, the blower manifold, whatever you want to call it. And it's run all on Holley HP EFI. It is a rowdy engine in that car. It's I wish you guys could hear it in person. I mean, it sounds pretty good on the videos, but man, in person, that thing is rowdy.
With the Holley EFI though, it's probably, I mean, once you got it tuned, the thing is drivable though, right? I mean,
absolutely.
It's rowdy, but that Holley EFI probably just made it damn near a daily driver.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. We just put an initial startup tune in it. I mean, we finished this thing. I was perfectly on time. I was supposed to have been there between pretty much 5 and 6 o'clock. I rolled up in there at 5:30. I pulled it out of the shop and pulled it straight in the trailer. That's the only time I drove it before I got to the show. And we just had an initial crank tune in it that Eric Evans, a buddy of mine, I sent him the info on the supercharger, on the engine, and he wrote just a baseline initial crank tune for it. It fired up, and I mean, it's crazy how it feels just with that in it, and knowing good and well that when he comes over and really starts playing with it, it's going to wake it up and really be an animal.
Yeah, there's probably another 150 horsepower on the table if it's just got a baseline in it. It's right. I think it's going to be a monster.
Right. I figure it'll be around 800 horsepower when it's all said and done.
Is the owner gonna? I'm assuming is intending to drive this. It's just not going to be a trailer queen, right? He looked like the kind of guy that wanted it built so that he could relive his high school, play with the car.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to show it for a year or so, and then he'll start driving it some. You know, he's had the car since he was 17 years old. That's the first car that he bought for himself. So that's special to be able that somebody trusts you enough to build them their car that they first bought. You know, that was pretty dear to my heart too. Being I still have my first vehicle. A lot of people can't say that, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, he'll drive it. We may have to detune it a little bit, you know, so he can get comfortable in it, because I know he don't want to, you know, side swipe it or do the Mustang thing and wind up in the ditch or something like that. So, but it's going to be a handful, that's for sure. It's a straight shift too. It's not an automatic.
Ooh. Is it a 60/60? What did you put in it?
No, it's a TKO 600, 5-speed.
Okay.
Yep. So
wow, it's just abnormal. I guess it is. It's abnormal. It's abnormally cool all the way around. Like it's a normal hot rod that's been done in completely different ways, man. It's just it's a pretty car. The paint on that thing, even when I saw it, and I doubt it was even that probably wasn't anywhere near its final polish. the final pass over it. It was already, that was months ago that I saw the thing, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, Shane put an extra little few steps in there since you've seen it last, and
I would imagine.
Fortunate, you know, that car was painted almost a year ago.
Was it really?
Yep. So we were able to, you know, actually wax it and really get it looking good. We didn't push to get the car done. I mean, there's no reason to be all dressed up and nowhere to go.
Right.
So, I mean, I just had one guy on it, putting it together, taking his time, and then got the call from Scotty, and I actually called Scotty, and I was like, hey, you got opening in the dozen? I said, I don't think the Model A is going to be able to make it. And he's like, yeah, what do you got in mind? I said, why don't we debut Mark's 57? And he goes, can you get it done? And I was like, well, I mean, I got 10 guys in the shop. I'm sure we can. And so I put 3 guys on it for like a week. And then the last 2 days, there were 4 of us on it. And then after 6 o'clock on Tuesday, I put the whole shop on it, and we basically worked all night Tuesday night and left out Wednesday at lunch with it. So this is definitely the smallest crunch time that we've ever had on getting one ready to go to a show. Notice I didn't say finished. I said getting ready to go to a show. Big difference.
Right. The world is the world opening up, y'all? Or are we?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. No, you ought to seen all the bullshit we had to go through to get in and out of the building. And if you were in the building, you had to wear a mask the entire time. Now, we did take our mask off for the videos and stuff like that, just talking through them. I mean, you couldn't hardly hear it anyway. Could you imagine if we were talking through a mask? They were pretty lenient on if there was a camera in front of you. But if you notice, everybody around in that video had on a mask.
Yeah.
And the line to get in, they were only allowing so many people in. So if, 4 people walked out, then 4 people could walk in once it got to capacity.
Right.
And the line was wrapped all the way around the building there.
I was saying, were they taking temperatures and stuff as they were going in? I know was a local event here with a bunch of people that they were taking temperatures for everybody entering the building. And
oh, they were not taking temperatures. I don't know why, but fortunate for us, we were part of the show, and we had a little hang tag, and we could come in and out of the back door as many times and come in and out as many times as we wanted to. So, I mean, it wasn't a big deal for us, but it was kind of a pain in the butt for everybody else.
Was the public reaction kind of relieved as, being really one of the first big car events, I think that's, happening. California's getting theirs, and were people being relieved that, hey, they had somewhere to go and look at cars again, or was that any of the chatter?
Yeah. I mean, the general census in the building was, I hate wearing a mask, but it's better than being at home and looking at my car in the garage. For any of y'all that's been to Pigeon Forge on a car show weekend, especially the Pigeon Forge rod runs that's held at the LeConte Center, the show is really small compared to what is out on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, Pigeon Forge was like it has been the last 10 years going up there for rod run. 2 hours to get from one end of the strip to the other. People sitting out in their chairs out on the street. I mean, everything from the power lines inward was for sale. Bunch of old cars. I mean, square body trucks. I mean, there was a ton of people everywhere. It really sucks being that the restaurants are still at half capacity and there's that many people in town. You're going to wait a couple hours to go out to eat. Fortunate for us, my mom and dad bought a house up there in 2009. So, I mean, we just order stuff to go and take it up to the house and eat it. So, but yeah, for the people that were in town, it was definitely a pain in the butt for them, but they wanted to be there, and there was nobody bitching and complaining. They were just happy to be around their friends and be around old cars again.
I was going to ask you if what's worse, no masks inside a car show or firing up a helicopter for a photo shoot inside the car show? Just curious, which do you feel is worse, John? Why would I ask John that? I wonder.
It all depends. If the fire marshal is around, you might not want to fire up your helicopter, which I don't understand. I think the EMTs would be more concerned about you firing up a helicopter and decapitating somebody.
And actually engaging the blades. Yeah. Why not? Just let it spin. It's fine. What could possibly go wrong? Right. That is truly a big ass fan.
That was the last car show I went to. And it wasn't because we fired up a helicopter.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's like having a diesel generator to run your charging terminal for your Tesla.
For your Tesla.
Or, having your diesel truck on the dyno and just letting it blow up.
Ooh.
Oh,
how did somebody not die?
I don't know how nobody got hurt.
I mean, there were parts and shrapnel flying everywhere. And no, dude,
yeah,
that was a damn miracle right there.
If y'all are wondering what we're talking about there, that video is on the No Driving Gloves Facebook page. Go watch that. Go watch that immediately.
I grabbed that video off a buddy of mine. It's one of the builders of Zara's car, and he had posted the video in all of the Gage Customs, and he also had a still. I never did steal the still from him, but there's a point there that it's blowing up, and it's got this sad face with the two turbos, and there's some sort of belt or pulley system that gives it a little frowny face. The motor even, was crying over what happened. And it was, yeah.
That was big.
I've seen cars let go on the dyno before. Not quite that manner.
Yeah. I've seen spark plugs come through fenders and giant holes in oil pans, but not catastrophic to that level. It was like, it was nuclear.
Was it just like every? Was it De Niro in Casino where the Cadillac blew up on him in the opening scenes? It was very similar to that.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, it looked C4.
We've had one let go. We've had one let go on the dyno, and it was a bad day.
Everybody make it out okay?
Yeah. The rear end let go, shoved the drive shaft into the transmission, bound up all the clutches, exploded the transmission. I'm talking holes this big in the transmission. It blew up the transmission so hard, it busted the aluminum block. So motor, trans, drive shaft, rear end, gone.
Worst thing I've ever seen on a dyno was one come off, one come unstrapped. And,
it
wasn't
bad.
Good. Wasn't good. Didn't blow the car up, obviously, but I mean, it hurt a lot of stuff. And it just, and it was a elevated dyno too. It was one of the drive on the lift Mustangs. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So it just kind of just shot off. It just kind of, see ya. On that note.
Well, I wanted to mention, I've always been a big fan of the 735, 750i that Chris Bangle always got in trouble for. I really like that notch trunk and everything. And heck, the new Mercedes.
Really?
Yes, I really do. And if you look, the Mercedes S-Class has that same styling on it now. And a lot of the luxury cars, even the Volvo's got the raised trunk that drops down on the fenders. A lot of cars really emulated that, even though Bangle got in trouble and obviously left BMW and has gone on to do some pretty cool things since then. But I'm going to probably be the 25% here. I'm always in the small majority.
You're not going to say what I think you're getting ready to say.
I when I first saw the pictures, I go, oh, God. And then I like it.
Oh, no.
It's distinct. It's taking a risk. I actually, if you put me in that, whatever you want to call it, I can't think of a group, I would have probably say, yeah, that's worth taking the risk. What am I talking about?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And we don't agree on a whole lot of stuff. And this is one thing that I can't believe we're not agreeing on. The new 3 Series is just an abomination. It looks like something out of a Transformers movie or Voltron, or like someone from Gundam Design Studio in Japan decided to go to the Stellantis Design Studio and steal bits and pieces from a Charger and make it look terrible and like a robot. It's horrific.
You say Stellantis and steal bits from a Charger. That car has a lot of alpha in the front end, I'm afraid to say.
That BMW?
Yes.
In what
There's a lot
world
of alpha
do you
in
live? In what universe do you... Oh, my God.
I gotta agree with Sean here. I'm not seeing alpha.
If you round off those kidney beans and you have the center of the hood slightly raised like the Alpha, and the Alpha protrudes its nose a little bit.
So wait, you're saying if you change the whole front end, it'll look like an Alpha?
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. If you put an Alpha front end on it,
it's an advancement. I'm saying it's a advancement of the style. I think it's playing off of that. I mean, I would even go as far to say that the full height grille from the hood to, the splitter, that's Audi-ish. I mean, that's what the Germans have done, is they've taken the grille all the way down the front of the car.
I can't even find a picture of it, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
Just type in 2020 BMW 3 Series.
Do you have a bucket anywhere near you? A vomit bag from a recent flight? Do you have?
Honestly, I think if you park the Alpha, this BMW, and the Charger all next to each other, you're going to be able to pick the Alpha out first.
Oh, is that it?
The green car?
Is it horrific in every way?
Is that
it?
Yep. Now, see, that's screaming Alpha to me. I'm sorry.
There is literally no part of that car that screams Alpha in any way. You look at the Alpha and you're like, ooh, that is sleek and incredibly sexy. You look at that and it's like, wow, Optimus Prime decided to design a BMW. It's just not good looking, man.
John?
What do you think, Will?
John? What do you think I'm going to say, John?
Well, I was going to say, we're sitting here. There's four of us. One of us is according to Ms. Hansen, is a excellent car designer. What does the car designer among us say?
I kind of like it.
Oh my God!
Really?
Yep. I don't know. There's some really cool things about it.
It's not just
like a face a mother could love.
Now, if I'm not a big fan of the grill going all the way down, if it was about half that size, dude, that's a damn good looking.
If it was about half that size,
but it's not a deal breaker for me. I can live with it.
My biggest problems with it are the kidneys are way too big, and then the splitter bumper amalgamation that's going on the front of it is just so busy, man. Like,
I dig it.
There are Formula One engineers looking at that going, why did you put all of those elements in there? That's way more than you need. And these are guys that put like 52 elements into a splitter. It's way busy, man.
See, to me, the problem is, and actually, if you get the side view, I mean, you almost got some Mustang lines going on in there.
That's a damn good looking.
That's
car.
The one I'm looking at. To me, that looks like something that Dodge built. That does not look like a BMW
looking. See, I'm looking at the.
Hold that up so people, if we ever do show this, that people will actually know what the hell we're talking about, Will.
But the problem is everything at the back, like everything from the A-pillar back, really almost leans backward, leans to the rear of the car. And then you've got that front end, and the front end then more wants to lean forward on the car. It just doesn't jive for me.
The front end looks really exaggerated to me. It almost looks like
exactly.
It looks like it has is that an underbite? It just kind of looks like the grill is like this kind of thing,
No, it'd be almost to me, it'd be an overbite because the top is sticking out too far.
I guarantee you, when y'all see that car in person, y'all are going to go, okay, all right, that's a pretty good looking car.
I'm willing to admit that I like it if I see it in person the first time and I actually get that feeling, but I don't see it happening. It's a bit much for me, man.
I like it. It's aggressive.
It reminds me a little bit, and I'm still sticking with your Stellantis stuff. It's that pouty nose that I think I like because it reminds me of the Quattroporte. I mean, it like Will says, it's an aggressive looking car and it does something that just kind of jumps out at you. I mean, you're gonna know it's a BMW.
It has freaking some style. It has some body lines, and it's edgy.
Yep.
And which is something that nobody else is doing right now. They're letting these computers design these damn cars, and they all look the same. Hooray for BMW for stepping outside the box and doing something that's pretty cool, in my opinion. You know, I mean, you meet a car coming down the road nowadays, you don't even know what the hell it is. They all look the same.
Some of that was the new, I'm air quoting, the new Charger or the new 300. I might actually be a little more on board with it. I just
look at the hood on that car.
It looks like a Charger.
No, it don't.
It's ugly.
Totally does.
It has body lines.
But the problem is, it has body lines. Again, it has body lines from the A pillars forward. The front does not match the rest of the body. I agree with Sean.
Look at the front. Look at the front fender and that body line coming back on the door.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. What's your point?
Hang on here. Hang on just a second.
You can sit better. You can sit better.
Oh, I'm looking at a 4-door one from the rear quarter, and it's got a huge swoosh, a Nike swoosh going down it.
Right there.
Yeah. The rear bumper's got an indentation in it. Yeah, I mean, the greenhouse is kind of typical 3 Series BMW. Maybe the trunk lid, but after Chris Bangle, who's going to mess with those? I mean,
here.
we got a 50-50 split here.
Weird.
This is pretty good.
I can't believe me and John agree on the same thing.
I say somebody's sucking up tonight.
That thing looks like a catfish. Come on.
Look at the hood. It's got the same indentions on the hood and the same hard lines on the hood. And here's the thing, what I was going to say is if that was a Charger or a 300 and the grill wasn't quite what it is, I might be a little more excited about it. But we're sitting here literally talking about a BMW that I think everyone in here has at least somewhat admitted that reminds them of things that are being designed by Dodge and Chrysler.
I haven't admitted that.
Have you not? Okay.
No, it looks like a BMW. It doesn't look nothing like a damn.
My God, it's the same hood. It's got the same body lines on it.
No, it don't.
It totally does.
At least the BMW hood body line flows in with the grill and everything else.
I can't wait for you to get one, Will.
No, I'll probably never buy one, but
I think both y'all. I mean, if both of y'all bought one, they'd at least sell 2.
Well, yeah.
Okay, since I feel sorry for the people out there who are listening because we're all showing our phones to our cameras.
We have to put this video up.
Here's the outfit. Am I wrong? Is there not some outfit in that BMW?
It's gorgeous.
That is tasteful.
But it's, Derek, to take over with you, it's slab-sided. There's no styling after the A-pillar. Heck, there's no styling after the headlights. Once you get to the front tire, it gets boring.
I don't think so.
But you've still got the protruding, pouty nose. You've got the tight headlamps. You've got the aggressive intake in the front.
So that's the thing. The aggressive intakes on that are the same, or not the same, but they're close to the same as what's on our Julia. It's just too busy on the Beamer. There's too much going on. There's too many. I'm not all for hard angles, man. Like the only hard car that I've liked in recent history with incredibly hard angles. I don't know why I like CTSV coupes. I have no idea why I like them. They look like spaceships going down the highway. I think they look cool, and it's nothing but a cut up and angled box, but they look cool. I'm just not a hard angle fan. I'm not a hard line guy.
We're sorry you're a softie.
Now, wait, I will say this, okay? I'm going to jump in. Everybody knows the famous BMW grill. I mean, we all know that. At least the BMW grill that is so famous from really the post-war era. Let's call it the post-World War II era. what BMW is doing with this car is stepping back to, and this is what was in my mind, and I couldn't pull up right away, but they're stepping back to basically the 328.
That's exactly where I was going to go.
And there's the 328.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's actually pretty.
So I will give them credit for somewhat stepping back to their heritage, but
It's
this is a lot better looking.
A lot
than,
prettier.
Well, I'll throw into Sean's CTSV thing is, we've got the ATS, and it's kind of the prototype for the ATSV. I like the new Cadillac styling being so chiseled and so edgy, and there's definite angles, and I mean you can origami a Cadillac anymore out of your placemat at Olive Garden.
Will's laughing about something. What is Will saying? What is this turned into a show each other the cell phone show?
It says 2020 BMW 3 Series review ratings and specs. And y'all got to look at the car that's in the picture.
What the?
Look, it says it right there.
Oh my God!
See, even the automotive journalists think it looks like an Alpha.
A lot of faith in that. We're literally not going to really get. Oh my God! Oh my God! I think I quit. I'm
going to screenshot that and send
I'm pretty sure after that screenshot, I quit. I think I have to.
Yeah. Please send that to me. We need to post that.
Oh my.
We're going to be posting that on No Driving Gloves.
Oh, it's just terrifying.
Is that not hilarious?
What site? What should we say? What site that was? Or if we're going to post it, I mean, people are going to know anyway.
It's the car connection.
The car connection. Okay. Good job vetting that.
Car connection.
What it is, Google heard us talking about it and seen the pictures, and they linked us all four together, and they did that.
They matched it. So you're literally we're all going to get ads for the new Cadillac, Alpha, BMW, Audi,
Charger.
M4 Charge. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be awesome. I love artificial intelligence.
The ATS M4.
That's wonderful. The ATS M4 Scat Pack, actually. It's the ATS M4 Scat Pack Demon.
Avant.
Ooh.
Avant.
Oh, here's another one on Car and Driver. Same thing, Car and Driver.
What the hell? Are you making those? What in the world is going on? How is that even happening?
No, somebody's live hacking our Zoom meeting and photoshopping these and getting them out on the internet. They're looking for them.
See what the Auto Week has.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God. That's so bizarre.
Oh, here's another one. Look, there's another one.
What in the hell is going on? Why?
So, Will, you're just proving you're sitting here proving me and Sean wrong because we're saying it doesn't look like an Alpha. Now you're like, hey, car driver. And all
Right
these
there.
guys are like, yeah, it looks like an Alpha.
John is right.
That is incredible.
First time on No Driving Gloves. John is right.
Right, write it down.
In 3 years? I mean, it's bound to happen. I don't know about, I can't believe it's about this, but it's bound to happen at some point. That is bizarre that all of those sites have an Alpha as the screen cap or the top pick for a 2021 BMW 3 Series. I'm not even sure what that says. I don't know. I was going to say, does the first line of the article after the picture say this is what BMW should have built?
Y'all will never know because I just sent screenshots.
Oh my God. That is beyond
We could just
bizarre,
Google
man.
it ourselves.
All right, so what else is going on in the world? That took like an hour, didn't it?
I say that took a whole turn there, that little BMW thing.
I say that wraps up the show. So.
And we're done.
See you later.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even touch on California's bit of genius and saving the world.
Do you want to touch on that? Or you want to save that?
I think we have to.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out another one for us to banter about, all nice and friendly like. And California bans gas-powered cars, selling new gas-powered cars after 2035. Sounds radical, except everything in the UK has to be, everything in France has to be, and is it Switzerland or some other European country after 2025 or 2028 has to be electric. So really what California is doing isn't that radical, other than it's the car state. I was sitting thinking, okay, 2035, everything's electric. And by 2038, if you're not in an electric car, everybody's going to be snobbish to you. How many, I'm always excluded in this because I never drive a used car. Will, your Daly's more than 15 years old. Derek, yours was 15 years old before you traded, was it not? Or was it close? 10 years old? It's not good.
It was 10 years old.
Yeah, it's not going to be trade all the time, but it just, I don't know. I think it's going to really be there's going to be a lot of pressure, and I guess it's hurting the lower class, if you will want to politicize it, that it's going to drive people and force people to buy cars that they can't afford so that they can feel like they're conforming.
Well, it's not saying that you can't buy a pre-owned car that's petrol powered, right?
No, it's saying, yeah, you can go to Nevada, buy a gas-powered car and bring it to California, and it be a 2035 or a 2036. But I think the peer pressure in California is going to be, if you're driving a gas-powered automobile by 2038, 2039, which I'll probably be dead by then, you're going to have the pressure that you need to get rid of that gas-powered automobile and have something that's electric. And yeah, there's going to probably be choices of a 2030 BMW Alpha Avant thing.
Yeah, there's not many people are going to buy a 2018 Volt in 2035, I don't think.
No, those cars will be absolute junk.
Yeah.
Tearing up the environment where they're rotting to the ground and nowhere to put the batteries. Come on, guys. Amen.
Get a horse.
Oh, Derek's like, bring steam back.
My plan is to get an early electric car. I mean, I'm going to have one in my.
You can't bring steam back in California. They don't have enough water to drink, let alone power their cars.
I was just there. There's none. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely none. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to stopgap that in 2035, because especially with California and the real estate prices and everything like that out there. I mean, you're already driven everybody out of the cities, basically. Or not everybody, but you've driven a vast majority of people in California out of cities because they can't afford 1,000 square feet.
They all moved to Austin, Texas.
Some of them did. Some of them definitely did.
A ton of them did.
Yeah.
You're saying exactly what they're doing, Sean, is they're just pricing a certain class out of California.
They really
that's what
are.
it is.
I mean, if you what in 2035, what is a reasonably priced pre-owned electric vehicle going to be? A 2028 to 2032, I guess, pre-owned Tesla is still going to be way out of reach of someone that's making a little over minimum wage or even if you're making $15-20 an hour, they're not buying. You're not buying.
That will be minimum wage.
It might be, but you're not buying a $65,000 car on $20 an hour if you're using your money.
What is a 15-year-old Tesla? What is a 2020 Tesla?
They're not going to be any. They're all going to be
in 2035.
junk.
But will it be worth it? That's the thing. Like if you bought a 2020 Tesla in 2035, I just can't see. I mean, how are you going to keep that thing running? Like the battery's going to be done. I guess you'd have to put new batteries in it. And
yeah, what's that going to cost?
Don't know. We don't know what the motor life is like on them either. I will say that, I mean, they do have, EVs have fewer moving parts. And there's no way that anyone can deny that. They have fewer moving parts. There's less stuff on them to break. So if they were
other than electronic wise.
Right. But I mean, they don't have anywhere near.
But even gas anymore, internal combustion powered vehicles have a ton of electronics. I mean, I've never looked at what the comparison of, percentage ratio is between the two, but I think we can also step back and look at, although there's, this is a mandate that's being put in place, which really has never happened before. I mean, you can step back to the early automobile industry and look at how it evolved and what it took to get everyone switched over to driving an automobile over horse and buggy or just horse was Henry Ford creating a way to build a cheaper and cheaper and cheaper automobile. And if we're going to make the switch to electric, that's what's got to happen next. It's got to be somebody like Elon Musk or one of the other companies that are going to come out, whether it be GM or Ford or whoever, again, moving into that electric automobile industry, figuring out a way to make the cars affordable to the masses and make that change.
I will take the stance that we're already to affordable electric cars with the Chevrolet Bolt, the Tesla Model 3. I mean, you can get those in the high 20s to upper 30s. And unfortunately, that's an affordable car.
Bolt, yeah, but a 3, no. The 3.
You can get a 3 for... I mean, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to find one, but you can get the base price on a 3 is less than $40,000.
Yeah, but they're all.
I did go through it. Well, that's the way they're optioned, and that's the buyers, and I want to say that's where they are. I did go quickly and run a 2012 Tesla Model S base car, and right now with 120,000 miles, clean retails about $22,000. They do come down. I mean, if we go out and we buy, you go out and buy a decent Charger, a decent Challenger, you're mid 30s. So to even push it to 40, the problem I have with California mandating it needs to be an organic transition. If people are going to move that way, if that's the way it goes, the manufacturers are going to go that way. And I think we are, because we see the manufacturers building more and more electric cars. The Porsche Taycan didn't come out because California created the mandate. The Porsche Taycan came out because people want electric cars that go fast. Speaking of which, how many of you saw the press release today on the Tesla Model S Plaid?
Yeah, I saw the Plaid. 1,100 horsepower. 0 to 60 sub 2 seconds.
In a 4-door sedan.
That makes me happy. Yeah. That gets me all tingly.
At $140,000, it's cheaper than a Taycan.
Yeah, I mean, I traveled out to California last week for work and got to spend the weekend at Buttonwillow, and there were 2, and I've never seen this at any racetrack ever. It was a busy weekend at the track, which was cool. Like Will was saying at the car show, it was packed out there as well. And cool to see people get back to a racetrack. But there were 2 full run groups of Teslas, like literally 2 of the 30-minute run groups were nothing but Tesla for both days. There were probably 85 plus, 80, 90 cars out there. They even had the car that unfortunately Randy Popes had trouble with at Pikes Peak was there. And it was amazing to watch them. And they were fast. A lot of them were set up really well. They were actually turning really well and braking really well. And even though they're heavier cars, the Model 3 performance, when you set those things up, is a track day weapon, man. I mean, it's incredible. It's cool to see that many people in other areas of the country because, John and I Will and we're all down here in Alabama, and spending time at any racetrack around here, you don't see them. You see 2 or 3 maybe at a track day. But they were they're on track for a 25-minute session. They would come in. They had enough chargers at the track to put everything on charge, and I didn't see anyone miss a session. And it was like 25-minute session and then about 3 hours between session 1 and their next. And everybody was ready to go. And I didn't hear anyone complaining about not being able to get their cars charged up in time to go out for the next track session. And it was cool to see, even though I'm an old school, I like to hear screaming engines and stuff like that. But these things make odd noises. They sound like the Jetsons going by, and it's a whole new thing. But I'm kind of on board for that tech. It's cool to see. The only question that I have for the three of y'all is, do any of y'all think that EV is truly the replacement for petrol and diesel powered cars? Because I think it's hydrogen. It's something. I think EV is a stopgap, and I don't know whether even 2035, because technology is moving so fast. 2035, we may already have a viable hydrogen solution that makes EV stuff almost obsolete, or we'll have solid state batteries compared to the lithium batteries that we're using now, that all of a sudden we have double and triple the range capacity of a Tesla. And that makes it a lot more viable in my eyes, because right now I'm still looking at a 300-mile range. It's just not enough for the one car that I have as a daily driver. But do y'all think it's a stopgap, or do you think at 2035 we're still going to be talking about EV?
To let you know, the new Tesla Model S Plaid has a 520-mile range,
which is amazing.
So, but I think the problem, again, with California mandating everything has to be, I don't know. I didn't read it. I don't know if it says it has to be electric or if it just can't be internal combustion. And they're giving exceptions to a couple of industry things. Everybody thinks it's electric, and I think that's where the pressure is. And if the governments are going to push electric, the manufacturers are going to have no choice but to develop electric, because that's all they're going to hear about in the press. Toyota's one of the biggest companies saying, no, electric's not the future. It is hydrogen. I don't know if hydrogen's the answer either. I personally don't quite comprehend it. It's a very expensive process to do and create hydrogen. Hydrogen is a very clingy molecule or atom, and it doesn't like to.
It's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure involved.
So to be clear, John, and everybody else, the mandate is that 100% of in-state sales of new passenger cars and trucks are zero emission by 2035.
That makes more sense.
That is the word.
That makes more sense, because there's going to be other technology that's developed. There has to be.
And I'm not even going to go into the how do we charge the batteries, the power plants, the moving the pollution from point A to point B. It's one of the things, and it's because it's cars. I wish the government would stay out and let the people do what they want. I mean, when Musk came out with the Tesla Roadster, very, very few people were talking electric cars. So there was a little bit of hybrid talk with the Priuses or Prii or whatever they are, and the Honda Insight both Honda Insights are hybrid, but I'm thinking of the one from 2000. There was a little bit of play into getting into this hybrid. But when Musk came out with his Elise-based Roadster, it started a little ball moving. And when he came out with the Model S, for all the Model S faults and all the problems it has, it started the consumer thinking towards electric cars. And all of a sudden, I mean, he is the movement to electric cars. You know, eBay and Amazon are the movement to online shopping. Tesla is the movement to, electric cars. And the government needs to trust that some of these people are actually doing it right. Why spend the money on the lawsuits and make the oil industry spend the money to sue California and try to overturn this? Let's just let the natural progression go and see what happens. And like you said, Sean, electric might not be the answer. Hydrogen might not be the answer. We might not know the answer
exactly
in 2020. So,
you know what? Over time, there have been clock spring powered vehicles. Zero emission. You don't have to do much. I mean, when they run out of power, you jump out, crank the spring back up, take off for a while. Boom, done. There we go.
So like a pullback car, just pull it back and let it go kind of thing?
A little bit, yeah. That's what we should move to.
What about I don't know whether any of y'all saw, there was an article that I saw last week about somebody has a new water-based rotary. No, I literally I can't see EV being the be all end all. There's going to be something else out there that picks it up, and whether it's hydrogen or we figure out how to run cars on
dilithium
water,
crystals.
I love dilithium crystals. Let's do that. Tachyon pulses. Let's get crazy Star Wars. Methane.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of options, and we could go back to another power source war. I mean, turn of the century, we had gas, electric, and steam all going after it. And there's been attempts at steam since then. I mean, in the 50s and 60s, there were some steam powered attempts. And with modern technology, we don't know what might be out there. We don't know what somebody might be playing with. I mean, I'm working on an electric powered steam car in my garage. I mean, you got to charge it up, and then it heats up an electric burner like off a stove, which then boils the water to turn it into steam. Then it goes in anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I drove an air-powered go-kart a couple of years ago that was actually fast. I mean,
there have been compressed air-powered automobiles too.
A whole lot of range, right?
No, yeah, the range is always your problem.
We're not even talking about 250 mile there. We're talking 20 mile range with those. But I mean, for a commuter car, for a little city car.
City cars, there you go. The city car, the electric city car of the 70s. Those the door wedge.
Looks like.
I want to see Will. I want to see Will build one of those.
Is that what you're talking about? The ones that look like a cheese block? Yeah.
Yeah, the little door wedge, block of cheese. Yeah.
I'm gonna say we need to get off this topic.
Do we?
I think we're
having fun.
This is no driving gloves, man.
We're beating a dead horse.
No. They did that at the turn of the century. Horses are gone now.
We talk about electric cars too much.
Let's talk about ugly BMWs.
We need to talk about our 572 210 Chevy that we just built. Yeah.
Gas hog, supercharged, raw power.
Sure glad we let Will go first, because if we would have done this last segment at the beginning of the show, we wouldn't have had listeners for Will's segment.
How dare you?
Does anybody want to throw anything else out there? Because I'm ready to kind of tell people that, check out NoDrivingGloves.com. Go there, buy us a coffee, chip in a couple of bucks for the show, help fund our research into electric cars.
Or if you want to chip in more money and just buy us a Zamboni, that'd be cool.
Oh, yeah. Zamboni. I never finished Zamboni Simulator. I apologize. I just quit after.
I want to know what happens.
It was terrifying. That game was terrifying. That was a dark place. It was one of the darkest things I've ever done. And if anybody wants to check that out, go to Steam and download Zamboni Simulator. It's free and it's horrifying, but not in the ways you're thinking right now.
Come on, Will, smile.
Will's barely staying awake. He's the one of us that works the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah, Will's like, I'm too good for this. Do you know who I am? I'm Will Posey. I'm Will freaking Posey.
God. Oh, my God.
NoDrivingGloves.com. There's a link there for Buy Me a Coffee. Check out our Facebook, all the fun little stuff. There's something else I'm supposed to remind you guys to do, but I can't remember. So I'm out of here for tonight, guys. Maybe I'll talk to you next week.
Like and share. I think like and share. Like and share is good.
Like and share.
Yeah, tell somebody about us, just not this last segment.
Ouch.
How rude.
God. Why don't you go buy a BMW 3 Series?
I was going to say, go get you a 2021 BMW. It'll be fun.
Let's see how many coffees I get bought this week. Out of here.
Half a coffee.
Bye, Will.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you for listening, and remember to look us up at NoDrivingGloves.com. There you can find back episodes, links to products we recommend, and links to all of our social media. Be sure to tell a friend about us. No Driving Gloves is edited and produced by J. Lewis Productions.